Hi guys, hello everyone. So this is Sneha this side from ITM Skills University and let's upgrade. Today we have a very special guest with us and he is not only a guest lecturer but he is also someone who has played an important role in actually building the syllabus of this ITM Skills University X Let's Upgrades BTech Computer Science Engineering. Yes, we are talking about Mr. Devrrat Arya sir, and he is a highly skilled technology professional with almost more than 17 years of experience with not only leadership but also entrepreneurship and also advisory positions. He is currently the Vice President of Technology at Pepperfry and I welcome you sir at our campus. I guess this is the second time you've visited the campus, right? And he has played an important role, as I said, in building our whole syllabus. So I want to first know about your experience, your journey till date. We would like to have you give a brief introduction about it.
Perfect. Thank you for inviting me. So since college, so when I talk about myself, since college, I have also always involved in entrepreneurs, multiple startups, and I was always in an entrepreneurship journey. So the basic premise of building a startup is not about some fancy things. It's about that I just wanted to build which will satisfy the customers, which will solve the problem statement which no one has solved it. So one of a few startups which I have worked on are way ahead of the market. So one of the startup was a clone of a Netflix system before the broadband era, and one of my another startup was in learning space, Coursera before Coursera, that's what I called him. So I think those are the problem statement which we find which is not being catered by most of the people before, or the people are doing it in a silent manner. I tend to look at those problem statement, I tend to solve it, those problem statement, and if something on a business point of view, if something comes up, then I build it. So that's how entrepreneur journey of mine happened since so long. It's been, I think, 19 years now, and mostly I read a lot, right? I read a lot in the sense of everything what can be read. It could be simple mathematics, it could be physics which I have learned in the college, which can be goes to any history topics, economics, right? I love economics, right? And all these, any new trends of the technology, AI, AR, VR, quantum, anything which I can think that I do not know, I read that, I try to find a problem statement, I try to solve it through self projects or through the means of some startups as an advisory position, or I try to do it by myself in my startup. So that's how it is. Yeah. So I think when Let's Upgrade contacted me around last year, so at that point of time when they were thinking about creating a syllabus for CSE IIT, computer science, CSE of BTech, so I find it really interesting. The really interesting in the sense of that is the syllabus is not focused on only on the education. The syllabus was not only focusing on that you finish off the course and then you go for the job and all. I think it was much more than that, right? So that is one of the primary focus which I got very excited about, that yes, there is a 360-degree learning and experience which has to be given to the student, and basis on that they can chart it out their plan. So one of the thing which I like the most is that since the start. I think this is second semester, right? So in the second semester, only you guys are interacting with lots of veterans, lots of the technology heads, business heads, right? The CEO of few companies, CTOs of the few companies, right? So I think it is also giving a lot of knowledge and lots of experience which these people have, and they are giving it to the student directly, right? So as soon as they came out from the college, they will do something which is much better. They will have that experience, and basis on that, not only they will learn the success of these people, they will also learn the failures, that what not to do, and that is also very important. Some of the things which these students can get the knowledge of is how to aspire for a better future for themselves or for the society, and if that is inculcated at the right moment, at the initial stage of their graduation, that will be very helpful for everyone. So I think I love the way the people are interacting, because I think you guys have created the spark into these people, and that's why the interaction was very interactive. There was no one who was looking at here and there. They were actually interacting, they were asking questions, they were going deeper into the questions, they were answering it even if they didn't know the answer. So that is actually very good, because that's where the people had opened up, and they will have because when, let's say for an example, if they go for an interview, they have to open up for everything. They can, you don't, if even if you don't know the answer, you have to answer something. So with these kind of exercises, with these kind of interaction, I think it will be very good for the students.
Got that, sir. So you had a transition from an entrepreneur to actually being a vice president now. So what are the key highlights, or we can say, that factors that this is important, this is very constant, bhale I do it in entrepreneurship or I be a VP of a company, VP of technology of a company. So this is the constant thing कि मतलब हाँ ये चीज़ करना ही है.
So one of the thing when I joined Pepperfry is in 2020 the augmented reality, virtual reality, and all these things are shaping up well. And when I was looking at the cost of operating these things in my own startup, it was very huge. So that's why when I got an opportunity, I immediately jumped into it, because sometimes it doesn't matter that you are working somewhere or you are working for yourself. It's a matter that how much you are learning, right? So with Pepperfry, I learned a lot, right? I learned AR, VR, I learned mixed realities, I learned how to mix the AI with AR, VR. So that means I got something, right? That is one of the thing on the technology side. Second point is that I worked with the company which is close to $1 billion. So that means I know the operations part in much scalable way, which I have not done it. I have done it in a small to medium scale, but not in a very large scale, right? So this actually give me a business point of view, a bigger exposure, the bigger operation point of view, bigger challenges in the marketing, right? How to predict the trend without analytics. Everything has to be innate in the mind of each and every leader there. So that's how I thought that this can be, and I still loved every day there, because it was continuously learning. Every day there is something new. If there is a problem statement, together we were solving a problem statement, right? If we wanted to build up something new, then we were building up something new. So means from my entrepreneur journey, it actually continued. It continued. They have given me all the freedoms, right? So I think this is one of the best decision of my life, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
So as you mentioned about your entrepreneur journey, I wanted to know, like, if these students are, you interacted with them, they have this mindset ki yaar, startup. So many of them have already thought ki, third year mein, fourth year mein hi, I would want to go ahead with my own startup. I have this idea, I'll create it, I'll go ahead with my own startup. So what would you advise them to do? Like, have a job first, take an experience, and then go ahead with a startup, or more of like कि idea है ना, throw it, like do it?
So I have a mixed response into this. Okay, so first of all, in the Indian mindset perspective, we are family people.
Yeah.
Right? No one can take this away from us, and this is very, very good. So what happens, we not only think about ourselves, we also think about our family, our kids, and everyone, right? So because it will never go away, right? So what happens sometimes, and it is totally basis on the stability of the person, right? If the person is stable enough, then I think the best choice is to go into the startup immediately, right? Second part which I will recommend mostly is just get the job, get what is the feeling of a corporate culture, get the feeling of how something works, get the feeling of that how to define your own processes, how to work as a team. The biggest problem in the startup is team, right? So if the team building can happen, that you cannot learn in a startup when you are just graduate from the college, right? So instead of that, you learn it, maybe 1 or 2 year, 3 year, whatsoever is fits you in a corporate world, maybe 6 months in a corporate world, it doesn't really matter. If you can learn out of it, the best thing, the 2 or 3 things which you can learn from the corporate is, first is team management, second is project management, right? तीसरा है operational management. So all these 3 things, if you come together, technology you can make it. I know that all the Indians are very talented, so I think technology can be made, but technology can be made when you have a team, when you want to grow your business. Then you have to put all these things, you have to know the finances part of it also, that how to run your startup efficiently, cost efficiently, and that is the thing. If you can get somewhere, then it will be very, very helpful. So I would request that it totally depends upon your psyche, and totally depends upon how you want to go deep into this without thinking about anything. So you guys can choose the best path, because there is no path for this straight away. You can choose whatever fits your scenario, fits your surrounding, right? If your father is very entrepreneur and he supports you, please do it. If your father doesn't, and if you have a 50-50, please go for the job, right? And then later on do it. So it totally depends upon how much this thing. A startup is a very roller coaster ride. Very roller. Sometimes you feel very high, sometimes you feel very low. So are you mentally prepared for this or not? So first thing I talked about economically, second is mentally. Physically you will, don't worry about it, because you are the guys will be young, so don't worry about it. Mentally and economically, these 2 are the things which, if you are taking care of, these are the 2 of the things, I think the chances of success will be very, very high.
So you have almost plus 17 years of experience, and how do you stay updated with all these technological trends? We know at what pace it is growing now.
Correct.
So how do you keep yourself updated with all these, trends and all? And you also having a team, how do you keep them updated on
Perfect.
this as well?
So actually, this is not which is innate only in my behavior. It is actually innate in my family behavior. So in my family, everyone is just deep into the learning of every kind. Every kind means every kind, because what we believe, that knowledge is the only thing which will give you the moksha, which is the ultimate freedom, right? So when we believe that the knowledge is everything, that you can get the knowledge from everywhere, right? So either it will be book, either it will be online courses, offline courses, or somewhere you are going and interacting with the people, get the knowledge, right? So when you're talking about how do I get updated, so generally what happens, I think around approx 1 or 2 hours, I just go on YouTube. Okay? I divided my 2-hour session in 2-3 parts. First one is geopolitics. Yeah, what is happening around the world, okay? What economics things are happening in some country, how some policies are coming which is actually making the life very very easier for the people. If somewhere war is happening, what is happening, so then you know the macroeconomics of the thing, that how something works, how money moves, how something can be made in a different and innovative way. That gives me a very nice perspective of the whole world scenario. Then later on I go deep into one of the my favorite topic is always and always about the AI. So I go deep into that what is happening around today. Let's say what is happening today, right? What is the new startups comes in, right? What are they doing? So there are few good forums are there, so I generally read them every day. Okay. And then later on I go deep into the analysis of how one of the tech leader is speaking and giving their perspective on some of the bigger talks, right? And that also give you the perspective of that how that business leader is mixing the technology with their industry and to gain the best of the profit. That also giving you some kind of experience. So the learning in my belief that if you are doing one learning continuously, you might get bored, right? It is good when you are in the college, but when you are when you are out of the college, you have to learn a lot of things. So luckily if you I do in that manner. And what happens generally, my circle is very very good, so lots of the people who are in senior vice president, CEO, and all these positions, they live very nearby, and I interact with them on the regular basis, means every daily basis. So that's also give me a new perspective. They also tell me I have learned this topic, just have a look at it, right? Sometime I tell them. So that also create a very good interaction group, and which also keep me afloat of all the things which is happening around the world across all the industries.
So these students are getting exposure, not only when industry experts coming to the campus, but we have also made sure that these students go to these tech events and the fest that happens, all the tech fest.
Yeah.
So they also get the networking and connectivity opportunity
Correct.
to do over there. So what are your thoughts on this thing? Because if I'm not wrong, getting this exposure in first year is very difficult for other students to get what they are getting it now.
In this scenario, I think most of the people go to the tech only for networking. They don't want to go there, or not in the sense of networking, in the sense of getting some opportunity out of something. That is the hidden agenda. They're not gone for networking. Okay? They don't call the people after the event. If they have something which is very very opportunistic, this thing for them, then they do it. They do that. Otherwise, they don't. So because people have not got an exposure since college, they always think about opportunity point of view. But you give them exposure from in the college, what the person will think about? Let me get some knowledge out of this person. Let me get some interaction out of the person. Means the soul is pure, right? And later on, let's say if the student continue to do that, what happens? Then in their job or in their entrepreneur journey, they do it in a pure heart. Then when the opportunity comes in, they exactly know how to tap it, right? So this is actually good, and this kind of a curriculum will help the student to make them more open about the things. They do not have a communication problem statement. They will not have fear of speaking, right? And those are the things which is very very essential. So I think this is a very good exposure for the student which you guys are doing.
So you've done your BTech from IIT Bombay, right? So not comparatively, but do you think this BTech CSE stands at the level of IIT Bombay's BTech?
I think both of the BTech programs are different, first of all. Okay, so some merit here, some merit there, some demerits here, some demerits there.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things which I think I'm very biased towards that, I think no one can surpass is IIT and IIM's professors. right? It's not about the student, it's about the professors, it's about the facilities. Government is giving them so much grant, and with the best of the professor, the student will get better. That is number one. Which beating them those is a different, correct? And so when I'm talking about the facilities, there is no comparison.
No comparison,
right?
right.
But when we talk about the syllabus, then it's totally up to that how much depth the professors will do the justice.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that is number one. Second one is how the college or the ITM is preparing the student for the corporate world or entrepreneurship world.
Right.
Okay, in generally in IIT or in the top colleges, which can be private, which can be government colleges, they have the exposure, they have the connection, they always have a upper hand. ठीक है?
Right.
If they graduate, the people will listen to them. So those are the upper hand which they have. So means the rest of the folks have to take a little bit more, what can I say, more effort into this, and that's it. The best policies which government of India actually taken the initiative means all these are coming into the open education policies, and as soon and those guys are coming up very fast, and these are the colleges. So means now anyone, even the remote area, can get the courses of IIM, IIT, SPJN or whatsoever, right? So means now even if I'm in a college, I can do anything, right? The thing which you guys are exposing, which is more openness, more connection, more networking, which those guys are not providing, right? So that is some merit, demerit there, right? So they are a little bit more relaxed, right? Because they know that people will get the job, people will do, so that's why they are much more relaxed. The people have a time to think, people and also the surrounding gives you the time to think.
Right.
Here there is no time. In any other college, they are always in a hurry, but there is no hurry. The life stops there very smoothly, slowly, and that's where the people think about the problem statement, the concept in much more deeper way. It is not only the professor, it is also everything, every variable comes into play, right? I can sit in a ground which is so big, sit there and think about the concept. I cannot do in a normal college. Someone here and there and noise are coming, there is no one. If I want to have an access of someone who's a Padma Shri, I can talk to that person there. Here I cannot, right? So, but now the best part is colleges are coming up with the new innovative concepts, and that is where. So I think those are the leagues which we should not compare to, right? But I think we have to create our own league,
Right.
which is beneficial for the student, which are which comes to a certain persona, economical background, right, social status, all these things. If the colleges are focusing in that area, so in those areas you can beat these colleges, and that's what I believe, because education is something which no one has cracked it. It is always about that how you do something for the innovative perspective. Right? And let's say talk about, let's say one example, when we are 2000 years back, when there is a Gurukul system, or 1000 years back Nalanda, right? At that moment 10,000 of the people from all over the world is sitting in a one college, and they are learning everything, from math to metallurgy, from everything, aircraft engineering, everything, right? And वहाँ पे कैसे बैठते थे? जमीन पे बैठते थे, right? But they have invented everything whatever is possible, right? So we cannot compare. It is totally depends upon what are the situation the current country has, resources which we have, and basis on that optimize the learning. And that learning, if every college does it in their own new way, I think everyone in the student community will get benefit out of that.
So you are someone who has been into an advisory position as well. So even now you do it, right? So what is that important factor you keep in mind ki, okay, whenever you have to give advice to someone about something, be it a company or something related to that, what is that main factor you keep in mind ki yaar ye cheez pe effect nahi hona chahiye, to you know some or the other factor?
So I think, let me put it in a very simple manner. So advisory of two kind. One is a professional advice and second is a personal advice. In both of the case, one of the element is constant, which is human.
Human.
Right? So if the human is constant and the human actually wants to change something, and if he is actually coming with the genuine thing for advisory, and if you get to know all these things and you can gauge those things, then I think that is the what I look for. That if the person is coming for, let's say, generally people came to me for tech advisory. Nowadays they are coming me for business advisory as well. So in the sense of technology, I need to know how good they are. Are they genuinely thinking about their startup? Are they genuinely thinking about their team? Are they genuinely good people? Right? In my perspective, of course. Right? If I think that person is good, then what harm can I do or can I get to advise that person or to advise that company? So that is number one thing which I do it. Any company who's not giving justice to their team or to their employees, I generally stay away, because I feel I have gone through these things long time back. So I always know that if the people are good, they will take your advice, they will modify your advice in a positive note, and they will get the best out of it. Right? In personal front, lots of the people, especially student, comes to me that what to read, what not to read, what courses to do, what not courses to do, and generally at that level, students and people are pure. So they genuinely want it.
They genuinely want it.
And if they genuinely want it, then I have ample amount of time to tell them. Right? Then there is no barrier. Sometimes people come at 10 o'clock in the evening. Right? Okay, sir, I am just in this zone and I need to come out of this. Right? Because of this scenario happened in the college and I don't understand this concept. What to do? So then it's okay, because I know that's a very genuine concern. But in a corporate setting, you have to be very, very clear that what you want to be the part of. Are these founders are good? Are these people are good? Right? And same case, when I am hiring people for my startups or for my companies, I always try to teach those things only. Become a good people first. And try to learn as many things as possible. And if the people will get it, and if they feel that they are growing, first of all, they will not leave you.
Right.
There is a very high team bonding, means there is no work hour. Right? If you want something tomorrow, they will do it for tomorrow. Right? So they will not think about it, okay, can you delay it for one more day? No. Because then you have created a bond, means you have actually tested out the first thing, that the person is compatible with you or not. So I think for a startup also I do the same thing. For personal and professional, I do the same thing.
Got that, sir. Any last word of advice you would give to these students? They are in their very first semester. Along with that, they have to keep themselves updated, academics, keeping updated, having some of the other startup ideas, thinking about some of the other job things, and also trying to get into internships. So all these things are mixed in their mind. So any kind of advice you would want to give to them? Have
I think
mind?
When you are in the college, the primary objective is to study.
Yeah.
Primary. I'm not talking about 100% time to be devoted on the studies, but I think 80% of the time has to be devoted. Right? So in that scenario, you have 20% of the time which is left, and in that 20% of the time, you have to focus on your first important factor is what you want to do in the future.
Right.
What are the things which you have not have at this moment, and you want to grow that. Right? So if you are thinking about continuously for the future and future of yourself first. Right? I want to, and yes, primary thing is you have to have 100% health and mental health. Right? अगर आप study कर रहे हो 80% of the time, but if your mental health is screwed up, then you cannot do anything about it. All the things will go into the vain. So that's why The primary thing is health is number one, then study, which whatever college is teaching you all the things, and 20% is you think about what are the things you can do, what are the things you can learn so that your future self would be better. And if you are thinking about this, then I think you will in the right track. And when you are thinking about your weaknesses, because you are talking about the weakness here, and if at the early stages of your life, if you realize that I have to overcome these weaknesses, then 100% you will overcome it, right? If you are afraid of, let's say, communication, and if you realize it, that this is the weakness of mine and I have to overcome it. So how do you do that? You interact with your peers, you interact with your professors, you interact with your veterans, and some of the things will go away. As soon as you graduate from the you'll get graduate from the college, majority of the things will get settled.
Right.
It is not only truly focus on the study. I think 80% of the study, 20% of the things which you like. Become active in, let's say, cultural activity, sports activity, right? Traveling, because it is a peace of mind which you have to get. So it is a mix of everything, but primary focus should be health and study.
And studies.
Yes. And if all the students in the ITM is doing that, or they want to have a very sound life, then I think they should start thinking in that manner, right? Lots of the people are telling me during an interview, lots of the people I have heard one of the question which is generally, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? Right? Yeah. And lots of the HR people and the recruitment people say this is the most bullshit question to ask. But I find that this is the best question to ask, because the person is thinking about it. The person is training his or her mind on that. If the person is getting trained, if the person is already seeing his 5 year of the future, he will make it happen or she will make it happen. Right? Think about it, that if the corporate is also thinking that this person is thinking about in a bigger role, so why not that role to be in my company?
Right.
Why you are sticking on that role? Think about bigger. That can become a very big position, and in the 5-6 years only, right? So you can actually nurture the talent in much more better way. So I think the biggest thing is, how do you realize your weaknesses and make it as a strength, right? And if students are doing it, I think it would be the best for them for the near future.
So you are a leader, you are vice president of technology. So when it comes to recruiting people in your team, what is that you see कि यार ये skill तो रहना ही चाहिए, this person should be having that skill.
So generally I've been very blessed when it comes to hiring. So whosoever I have taken the interview, they have not felt that is an interview. Okay. So 2 or 3 things I try. The first thing is, I focus on soft skills. Okay, number 1. Second is elasticity of the person. ठीक है. Soft skill, elasticity means कोई भी situation दे दी, is even if it is a very tough situation or a very light situation, the person can navigate it. If the person can navigate it, means वो प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज भी नेविगेट कर लेगा, वो सेल्स भी नेविगेट कर लेगा, वो मार्केटिंग में कुछ सोच के वो भी नेविगेट कर. बट इफ द पर्सन आर रिजिड, दैट मीन्स वो सबसे पहले तो आपको तकलीफ देगा, राइट? एंड दैट विल नॉट बी हेल्दी फॉर कंपनी, राइट? नंबर 1. सो इफ यू आर फोकसिंग ऑन सॉफ्ट स्किल रेदर देन हार्ड स्किल, ठीक है, so that is the primary criteria which I look for. Second one is, the person should not be rigid on anything, right? Third thing is, the person should have a good communication. I'm not saying the best of good communication means even if some of the things are not in a perfect tone, perfect words, but he was emphasizing in such a manner and giving 100% strength to explain in that manner, I think that person is also good. And then later on, the fourth part is the hard skill part, that how good he is, which we are hiring for. So I tried this combination. Sometimes for some different role the combination is different, some kind of a different role the combination is different, but I believe in most of the cases this works with me. I don't know that it will work for another people or for another companies, but it luckily worked with me for so long.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
It was a great session. Being mentored by you is one of the biggest advantages, we can say. Not only the students, but we as a team, the whole ISU value team that is being mentored by you. It feels so good and we feel so blessed. Thank you so much, sir, for this session, for this interaction. It was a really great interaction session, I would say, because not a podcast, not an interview, but we had a good session today as an interaction. Thank
Perfect.
you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.